In this video, we're going to talk about a few topics which we already touched upon on our website, welltakeplasma.com, and we keep getting the same questions over and over again. So we wanted to make a dedicated video on these particular topics to try and give the same information in different formats so that people will digest it a bit more easily, and hopefully will clarify these particular points. But the points are how many treatments are required for eyelid tightening, how often you need to repeat the treatment, so how many interval, what is the time span that you need to respect in order to wait before you carry out the next treatment. And then we're going to lastly compare these treatments with surgery, with blepharoplasty. We're going to do that because there's been a number of companies claiming that this is the same as blepharoplasty, and we'll talk about it at the end of this video. But we're going to jump directly on to answering the first question, is to say how many treatments are required for eyelid tightening. And we're going to start with a few pictures because this will clarify why we say certain things. So then the topic of the blepharoplasty and so on will be quite clear at the end. This is me over 2 years apart. On the left is me when I was 34, and on the right is me when I was 36, almost turning 37, because I'm born in February 1980, so people knows. This is another picture, so you see that there's not a lot of skin to tighten there. And this is another picture of somebody slightly older than me, in her 40s, but she conducts a very healthy lifestyle, so there's, the skin is extremely good. And this is another example where you would not go through a blepharoplasty because the skin maybe requires a bit of tightening. It doesn't require much correction. But this is another example. You may have seen this video, and this is an example where the subject is over 60, and the amount of skin to tighten is quite considerable. And here is the results 10 days after one high intensity treatment. And remember, this is 10 days after. The skin changes over a number of months after high intensity treatments, despite the device you're using, despite the claims made by each manufacturer. Is something that occurs in physics. Is nothing that can be changed as far as we know. Nobody has made a magic wand about these this sort of treatments. So so remember that these particular results are very good, but the area is going to change, and we have seen it a number of times. A good tightening 10 days after treatment, and then a bit of laxity after high intensity treatment, and then it tightens again over the course of the months. So in this particular case, for example, we would want to go for 6 or 7 treatments in order to get a good tightening, whereas in this case we want to go, as you can see here, is me after the second treatment. After 2 treatments, the area is very tightened, and this is the case of after a high intensity treatment, 7 or 8 days after the treatment. So if you have little skin to tighten, then 2 to 3 treatments are normally enough. Whereas if there's a lot of skin to tighten, then you want to go through 6 or 7. But remember, these treatments don't cause miracles, and in our opinion, will be unlikely that the results are exactly the same as a blepharoplasty. It's not, in our view, it's not. That is not possible. So the best suggestion for a case like this is to go through a blepharoplasty, because then you get rid of all the excess skin in there. In one session, you get the swelling and bruising. In blepharoplasty, you get bruising. You don't get bruising in skin tightening and eyelid tightening using plasma. or you get bruising after surgery, but you get it once, and after that you don't need to go through any further treatments. Whereas with plasma treatments, if you go through and watch this video, see the swelling, you see a number of swellings throughout our websites. There's people that try to sell you their device at a high price, and they also claim that they don't have any swelling after you treat the eyelids using their devices. This is not true, because we have tried loads of devices, and we haven't found one that doesn't cause swelling. It's due to the very nature of the treatment. What happens is you burn the skin, so the skin will undergo some swelling, especially on the upper eyelids, because it's quite a delicate area. So there's no magic wand up there, so that should actually give you an idea of how many treatments are required in order to get good or the results that you're looking for. And that varies from case to case, and then it varies according to the intensity of the treatment that you're carrying out. In terms of the spacing between the treatment, the minimum time we've now changed. Some people still suggest 4 weeks. We suggest at least 8, at least 2 months. If the person has a bit of redness or feels that the area is itchy, therefore is still changing, wait until those symptoms are completely over. It's better not to touch the area while it is still changing. So if you have carried out a treatment where you have applied mild or medium intensity, then normally 2 months or 8 weeks should be enough. But always ask the question, how does the area feels? If it feels as if it's still itchy, still something going on, refrain from carrying out any further treatments until the area is completely stable and not subject to change. So once again, to summarize about this point, minimum of 2 weeks despite the intensity of the treatment. Normally you'll find if you use high intensity treatments, which should be avoided, then the person will have still some redness and will feel the area is a bit itchy even after 2 months. So wait until those symptoms have completely subsided in order to carry out any further treatments. But minimum 2 months, despite whether you have applied a low medium intensity treatment. And then if you want to know about low medium intensity treatments, then you can go on our website and learn more about that, what they are and what the difference is between high intensity treatments and medium intensity treatments. So we are going to touch right now about the topic of blepharoplasty and plasma skin tightening. There's been a number of companies that have advertised for a high price their devices as the substitute to surgery. We have carried out several treatments, and we have really documented it. It's not just we say it, we really documented it. Some of them we have already published, and we're going to publish more and more as we go along. So we just don't say it, we publish them. So we publish not only the before, the after, the in between, but also the procedure as well. And we try to say the story in full, because this is the way we'd like to say it. And if you follow us, you'll realize that our devices are generally not as expensive as others. With other people, what you find is that you have to pay a huge amount of money in order to get their device, and then hopefully you're going to find that the results are exactly as they say. But in our case, what you'll find is that our prices are much more accessible, so you don't need to make a huge financial commitment, especially in the UK, where we give our devices for hire, so you don't have to spend several thousands of pounds in order to find out what the results are like. So that gives you an idea of what we provide and the confidence that we have about our devices. So touching again on that topic, we feel that in reality there is a huge difference between a blepharoplasty using surgery where you cut the skin and eyelid tightening. You cannot shorten the skin using plasma tightening. It's just not happening. Some people try and advertise eyelid tightening as blepharoplasty by showing you the area immediately burnt where there's a good degree of dehydration, therefore the area is shrunk. That changes. If you go through our online training platform, we show you that those changes, how they take place in a lot of detail. And what we have found is that a blepharoplasty gives you dramatic results, you can take off fat, whereas skin tightening, despite what device you're using plasma, tightens the skin, which is a completely different concept and leads to results that, in our mind, given the results that we have already, are not the same as a surgery. And in many cases, it's not even advisable to try and mimic those results if you have a lot of skin to shorten. But we're going to talk about again about one example here. A person of over 60 can come to you and try to get a non-surgical blepharoplasty as people advertise it. As long as you tell the truth, as to say, you tell them that the results are not going to be dramatic, and in order to achieve good results, they're going to go through 6 or 7 swellings. Then they make their mind up to carry out eyelid tightening. Then you're fine to go. But as long as they'll realize that if they go for a bleph, they're going to get the swelling once, they're going to get the dramatic results that they're after. If they go for eyelid tightening, in order to get good improvements, they have to go through 6, in a case like this, 6 or 7 times in order to get a good, definite tightening of the upper eyelid. So again, miracles have not been devised as yet. We're working on it, but if you want to know more about these topics, please let us know, and we're happy to make more videos for you. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.